good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody doing? Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody doing? Welcome into TNT tonight. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer. I wanted to basically show you what the episode is about tonight. Releasing. We're going to release the first TNT Mock Draft of the season, of the off season. So I wanted y'all to see that. And of course, probably the main four picks that's going to be the topic of conversation are on your screen with Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, and Abdul Carter. So let me know what y'all think of that. Apologize for my tardiness. The missus and I were discussing something very important and very good. So I have to put the blame on her on that one. So she'll be okay. But anyway, I just let me know what y'all think of the graphic and welcome into the show. And make sure y'all go ahead and share this show out, whether it be on Facebook, X, or Instagram. Definitely make sure y'all do that. I'm going to take care of some of that when I get out of here. I'm going to definitely make sure I share this show out. I didn't do a good job of that earlier. But y'all make sure y'all do me a favor and share the show out to everybody so everybody will know where to come on in and see the show. So if y'all could do that for me, I would truly appreciate it on all platforms if you could. Also, make sure as you come in, make sure you smash that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button and help me help the algorithm and help that spread as well. And then also, if you're new to the channel, welcome, first of all, and then go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell, hit all on your notifications so that way whenever I do go live, you will know. And then I'm going to get back to work on making sure I get this up on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, and Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. If you want just the audio version, if you missed anything, you could definitely do that as well. So TNT tonight, appreciate everybody coming on in to the channel. Definitely do appreciate that. Y'all give me just a second. Okay, had to grab my water for a second. I had to, I got to stay hydrated. So, I know it's been a while since we've been together. I know it's been a while since we've all been together before. And I definitely am going to I'm trying to get back to consistency, mainly because I do work 2 jobs now. So it does make it a little bit more difficult for me to be able to put some things together because, I'm trying to rest in between jobs when I can. And then I have to go to a second job, trying to make a little bit more income. But at the same time, I'm definitely going to try to make sure I continue to chime out good content for everybody and make sure that we keep this thing going because I don't want to lose any of you. And I'm not going to ever stop doing this. I love doing this too much. So thank everybody for sticking with me, for bearing with me at this point in time. I was also on vacation last week out of the country. I was on a cruise. Went to the Bahamas. It was beautiful. I had an absolutely amazing time. It was exactly what I needed. I needed to recharge the batteries, kind of, put some things in perspective for myself and what I want to do. And, growing this channel is definitely a part of it. And I need y'all help to do that. And I appreciate those that have already. So I thank y'all so very much for all of the support. But it was a fun trip. I had a great time. But I did miss doing this. And so now I'm back. I'm back and ready to roll. And we're going to definitely try to make sure this is more consistent. So please bear with me. We're going to definitely make sure everything keeps going accordingly. But while I was gone, quite a few things have happened. I believe the last time we were all together, did a quick show breaking the news about Mike we did a show about Rand Carthon being fired, and then also about Mike Borgonzi being hired. What's up, Steven? Being the first. Daniel Berry, what's going on? He said his first mock, Shador at 1. Philomatics, what's good? Over Chicken, what's good? I know some people starting to crowd on in. Yeah, I am doing well. I am doing well. Definitely, definitely working on some things. I'm on my own personal journey. For on myself. So it's gonna be something. It's definitely gonna be a journey for me that I've been on since last year. So everything is good. Like I said, I'm back from vacation. I had a great time, and now it's time to get back to work. And first thing of business is there's been some changes in the front office. Now we talked about Rand Carthon being fired. I did a quick breaking news on Mike Borgonzi being hired as the new general manager of the Tennessee Titans. I thought that was a excellent choice by the Tennessee Titans. I know I did that show as well. And I did that, but I did that a couple weeks ago. And now, since then, they've added to the front office, adding two former Raider general managers in Dave Ziegler, and Reggie McKenzie. Uh, Dan Ziegler will serve as assistant general manager under Mike Borgonzi, and then Reggie McKenzie will be vice president of, I think, vice president of scouting, some kind of a scouting advisor role that he's going to be under. So I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was some good moves. You get a couple of former general managers to help a first-time general manager as well, and the president of football operations. So I think in a way, Mike Borgonzi looks like he's going to be running it, and maybe Chad Brinker is going to kind of step back and only be like an overseer if, hey, you need to break a tie. So it does sound like Mike Borgonzi's going to have some power the way that it goes, even though it did seem like in the beginning that it was going to be Chad Brinker's show and nobody else. And everything. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happened. The Titans do have the number 1 pick in the draft. Steven says, based on the front office, it sounds like we could have Derek Carr as our quarterback. Will the Saints release him or trade him? I'd rather not. I mean, Derek Carr probably would fit better with Callahan because you do need a veteran quarterback. And I think that's something that's going to be the topic of discussion. I know A to Z Sports was talking about it, definitely. And I didn't get to really hear the entire show with that. I'm going to go back and listen to that. And I will say this, next week, I'm really going to be starting to get into scouting as far as the Senior Bowl. So I'm going to tease that right now. Next week, we're going to kind of go over the Senior Bowl. I know the Senior Bowl just happened, and the East-West Shrine Bowl happened as well. Definitely going to go back and watch some practices and see who stood out. Who could be some guys that the Tennessee Titans could go after in this draft. Now, I know at the East-West Shrine game, even though he didn't practice, they did get to talk to Shador extensively. They have yet to meet Cam Ward, and they are going to try to talk to him and probably Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter as well, I would assume. But there were definitely some other players that they got to talk to as well. And so we're definitely going to get into that and much more starting next week. So we're definitely going to get into some scouting and seeing who are some potential fits for this Tennessee Titans team. And so I was also listening on 104.5 and just kind of figuring out what direction could the Titans go in. One thing I did see from Mike Borgonzi, I think I read an article, is that Mike Borgonzi, one of his top priorities in free agency is offensive line. I think he's definitely going to look at offensive line. Now we know one guy that's possibly going to be available and should be high on the list for the Tennessee Titans is former Tennessee Vols and Kansas City guard Trey Smith, who will be in the Super Bowl this Sunday. He definitely could be a guy. Now he's going to command a pretty penny. That much is a fact. So we do have to be conscious of that. But another guy that I think could be available is Ravens left tackle Ronnie Stanley as well, who had been regarded as one of the better left tackles in the game. So if you get those two guys, this is what your offensive line could potentially look like. You have Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, Skoronski at left guard, Cushenberry at center, Trey Smith at right guard, and then you move J.C. Latham back to his natural spot of right tackle. And then say you have Brunskill or Dylan Radins as your utility guys, or you have Brunskill and Corey Levin. Definitely bring back Daniel Brunskill. And then you have them as your utility guys. And maybe see if you can keep a Dylan Radins. Maybe you can get him back on the cheap, and he could be like your swing tackle, your sixth guy. He could play left or right. And then Brunskill could play anywhere, like tackle, guard, or center. And you have those 8 guys and even a Corey Levin. That's a nice 8 offensive linemen that you could have. I would actually be okay with that. Because you can't tell me Reggie McKenzie look like he wear Old Spice and keep peppermints in his pocket. he do. He looked like there was an actor that he kind of he resembles, and then not to mention he got the Don King hair, so he kind of does resemble that a little bit. Let's see. New Jersey Titan fan says, my wish would be bridge quarterback, trade down, select Carter. Titan Khan said, I want Shador, number 1 pick. It's prime time. I'm hoping for either Shador or Cam Ward in the draft, but still get a veteran quarterback either way. Now, that one wouldn't be a bad idea either, is if you still get a veteran quarterback and then you still get one of these guys. Hey, they can sit up under for a year and learn. And then you don't have to pressure to start them right away. But you don't want to waste the top pick in the draft on somebody that does not contribute. So I think that's where that comes from. But I did like what happened with the front office. I think that's a good thing. And, like I said, I think Borgonzi's definitely prioritizing the offensive line early on, which I think is a very, very good thing, because that right side of the offensive line needs to be fixed. And if you get a Ronnie Stanley and a Trey Smith possibly, bang, your offensive line could be fixed for quite a few years to come. Now, Ronnie Stanley may be around for maybe another 3 to 4 years, and then you're going to have to draft a left tackle at some point. But you can move Latham to right. He'll be comfortable. Trey Smith will be here for the good future for about 5 more years, and then you might have something there. And so, you have that. Definitely need another receiver. We got to look at quarterback. We need another pass rusher. Definitely, we need a safety. So we definitely got some work to do. Now, Steven Crosdale mentioned Kevin Zeitler. I have heard that name as well, although Kevin Zeitler is 35 years old. There is a thing. Now, offensive linemen do tend to have the most longevity if they stay healthy. Some of them can play well into their 30s and still produce. Zeitler would be more of a short term. Trey Smith could be long term. Trey Smith, you could probably put on a 5-year deal, 4 or 5 year deal. Zeitler, you're probably looking at 2 years, get out after one if he struggles. So that's just something that I would see. But also, something else that went down, Colt Anderson, some coaching changes happened as well. Colt Anderson was fired and replaced by Bones John Fossil, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys special teams unit, which is definitely is an upgrade. And hopefully that will help our special teams get much, much better. And the Dallas Cowboys special teams has been very good. It's definitely been very good over the years. Also, another coach that got hired, of course, Chris Harris, the pass game coordinator, cornerbacks coach, will not return. He's taking a job with the Jets, and instead, we got the Jets former cornerbacks coach, and he'll be our pass game coordinator as well. I'm trying to get his name. I believe it's Tony Oden. Let's see. I'm trying to get the name of that. Okay. All right. Okay. I had some technical difficulties, so I kind of had to. All right. Yeah, having some technical difficulties, so I kind of had to go to Plan B. Kind of had to go to Plan B right quick. Yeah, Tony Oden is the guy. Was a senior defensive assistant and cornerback coach. Now he's gonna be the pass game coordinator here. Um, although Brandon Aubrey at the Super Bowl has said he's probably not leaving Dallas right now. We'll definitely see about that. Um, that could be very interesting, Ty Kong, if we trade back up in the first round. That would be very interesting. And everything. So, um,
Like I said, I like some of the moves that were made. Um, I like some of the moves that were made. I decided I need to change up, and I just went to my phone instead of my microphone because for some reason my computer wants to act stupid again. Um, but I definitely do like the move of Tony Oden as bringing in for our defensive backs. I believe Jason Alden also is. Sorry about that, yeah. And then Jason Alden is also gone. Um, as I believe he was run game coordinator for the offense. So definitely some changes have been made on the coaching staff, and they need to do that. They had to do that, which I thought was good. Definitely. So again, gone from the coaching staff. Cole Anderson fired. Passing game coordinator, cornerback coach Chris Harris is not back. Jason Alden, Justin Alden, tight end coach, not back. Defensive assistant Clint McMillan, he's gone to the Patriots. Anthony Levine, special teams assistant coach, also gone as well. And so all those guys are no longer on the coaching staff. Um, and some changes again have been made. I believe Raina Stewart now is going to be the new assistant special teams coach. Luke Stocker got promoted, former Titans tight end. Now he will be the tight ends coach, which I think is good. I'm definitely happy for him. Um, I am definitely very happy for him getting that promotion. I'm trying to see if there are any other hires, but I think those are the main ones right there. Yeah. I mean, that'd be nice. We do need a kicker. We do need a kicker. And then, of course, recently hired former Bears, I believe former Bears um, assistant, Travis Smith. He's going to be the defensive run game coordinator. Um, I think he was the defensive line coach. Yeah, he was the defensive line coach for the Bears. Definitely a very good defensive front. So that's another thing that also happened as well. But those are some of the moves that have been made. Um, which I think all in all were some very solid moves. I definitely did like that. So I definitely thought they were good. Definitely appreciate everybody sticking with me. Make sure y'all again share this show out. Go ahead and share this show. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit that all bell under your notifications so that way you'll know when I go live. But the Tennessee Titans, but here's what y'all, let's talk about what y'all came here to hear about. And again, um, teaser alert, we're gonna start talking Senior Bowl next week. We're definitely gonna look at some players. I'm gonna try to see who could fit this team and at what positions of need are we looking at. Definitely gotta look at edge, definitely gotta look at receiver, definitely gotta see maybe there's a quarterback we could pick later. Definitely the talk of the Senior Bowl was definitely Jackson Dart. He was definitely one. Gotta give a shout out to my guy, former Memphis Tiger quarterback Seth Hennigan. He had a pretty nice week, and he led the game-winning drive in the Senior Bowl. So shout out to him with that. So again, definitely congrats there. But the Titans have the number one pick in the draft. And so I've decided to release my first mock draft of the offseason. And so what I did 2 separate mock drafts. I did more of a realistic one. I did a 2-round mock that was more realistic. And I wasn't going to do it without a trade, but this particular trade I couldn't pass up. I thought it was a good one. And then another one is a 4-round mock, and I kind of just went crazy a little bit with this one. So the first one is going to be a little bit more realistic. The second one is just me going a little bit crazy. And so that's what we're going to be doing here and what we're going to be talking about. And so this is my realistic draft. So I had the number 1 pick in the draft. Now I had 4 different trade offers to start this out. Pittsburgh tried to offer me pick 21, pick 52, and I think they tried to offer me like a second or a third. I rejected that one immediately. The Raiders tried to offer me 6, 37, 73, and I believe a second next year. I rejected that one. The Giants tried to offer me 3, 35, I think their third. I want to say their fourth 2 and a second round pick at 26. I rejected that one. The Browns offered me 2, 33. They offered me their first round pick at 2, their second round pick at 33, their third round picks at 67 and 94, and their second rounder. I decided to counter that offer. I said, okay, how about you give me your first, you give me number 2, you give me your second, you give me your third, you give me one of your 3s, and instead of that second, you give up that number 1 next year. Now, I tried to do it and see if they would still give up 94, but they wouldn't. But if I decided not to take pick 94, change that second to a first, they accepted. So I traded down, and I have number 2. I traded down. I got 30. I got number 2. I also got 33. I got 67. So, and a future first round pick next year. So I have now number 2, 2 second round picks, a third, and a future number 1. So did that. The first pick I did, I traded back, got a future number 1, a second and a third, and I still was able to draft Cam Ward at 2. Cleveland went ahead and took Shedeur Sanders in front of me. I went ahead and drafted Cam Ward at 2. Then at 33, I saw Mike Green, the edge from Marshall, on the board, who had a really good week. At the Senior Bowl. And I decided to take him at 33. He was too good to pass up. We needed a pass rusher. And then at 35, I thought about getting this wide receiver. I believe his name is Xavier Restrepo. I know I didn't get his name right, but he was a wide receiver in Miami with Cam Ward. And I thought, well, could get him a safety blanket. And so I decided to go with Trey Harris, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, at 35. And so I still would now have, after 35, instead of only picking 2 players, I've picked up an additional, instead of just picking at 1 and 35, now I drafted at 2. I drafted at 33. I drafted at 35. I have a future first. And I have a third round pick this year. So now, the third round pick I didn't have, I got one now at 67. Somewhere at the top of the third round. And then I still have a couple of fourths as well. So I thought that was a pretty good move. I get all of that and I only traded down one spot. I get all of that traded down one spot. I thought that was good. And also, yes, Lori Locust is a defensive assistant instead of defensive quality control. So definitely. I did hear about Jackson Dart looking good. Now, Steven says, in my first mock draft, ended up going from 35 to 90, 100, scored a second and a fourth next year. That's a little bit too far down to go. I would not trade that far down. But that's just me. Now, that was my more realistic draft. Getting Cam Ward, you get Mike Green, you need a quarterback, you need a pass rusher, you need a wide receiver. Now, again, I did this one in particular on the pretense that, of course, in free agency, I think we get Trey Smith at guard and Ronnie Stanley at left tackle. So you do that. Offensive line, you really don't need, except later in the draft, you get some depth. So that's why you don't see an offensive lineman very early in this draft as well. Now, the one I went crazy on, and I did go crazy, is this one. And so this one I went really crazy on a little bit. And so hopefully y'all can see everything. But the crazy things I did on this one is legit. It is legit. And I can't believe I stole all of this. I did. I was a thief. I think I stole some picks here. Now again, Steven, this one is my more realistic draft. Trading down with Cleveland, picking up another second and a third, and I got a first next year. And got these three players. That is my true mock draft. This one, I just decided to go a little crazy and just have a little fun, see what I do with some, if I just decide to do some trading. So this is what happened. Got the number one pick. Decided, okay, I'm going to do the Cleveland trade like I did before. Trade it down to 2. And I still picked up a second, a third, and a future number 1. But then the Raiders came calling. The Raiders decided to offer me number 6, number 37, their second round pick, number 73, one of their third round picks. Now remember, in this draft, I already have, now, I went from 1 to 2. So I already have number 2. I have 2 second rounders now. I have 2 second rounders. I have a third. And I still have 2 fours. And I still have 2 fours. Or better yet, this says 3 fours, but I believe it'll only be 2. I think that's from the DeAndre Hopkins deal. So right now I have number 2, number 33, number 35 in round 2, and 67 in round 3. The Raiders come calling, offering me number 6. If Ward was picked, I would take Sanders. So the Raiders offer me number 6. They offer me the second round pick at 37, their third round pick at 73, and a number 1 pick next year as well. I couldn't pass that one up either. Now I know that would possibly take me out of the sweepstakes of drafting a quarterback or Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter. But it was a deal too good to pass up. So now I'm at 6. And now I have 3 second rounders, including my own. I have 33, 35, 37. Then I have 2 third rounders at 67 and 73. And I also now have 2 additional number 1s in 26. So I'm setting myself up really good. Instead of just having first, second, and don't pick again to the 4th, now I have a first, 3 seconds, 2 thirds. So instead of 2 picks in the top 100, I now have 6 in the top 100 by making 2 moves. And I have 2 additional first round picks. And lo and behold, Travis Hunter was still on the board at 6, which I don't know how. I saw him on the board at 6. I'm like, there's no way I'm passing on this guy. No way. I'm taking Travis Hunter at 6. And I didn't even think about, I added more weapons. I didn't even think about, I did draft Travis Hunter. But then again, having more weapons can't hurt you. And so I got Travis Hunter at 6. At 33, I knew I needed help at pass rush, so I got Shamar Stewart out of Texas A&M at 33. And then I decided to double dip at wide receiver again at 35 with Trey Harris. Again, I forgot I got Travis Hunter, but that's still good because you have Hunter, Harris, Ridley. And if necessary, something go wrong with Snead or Awuzie, you can just move Travis Hunter to the other side of the ball. You still got Harris and Ridley, and you should still be okay. Then I get to 37, and guess who comes calling? The Dallas Cowboys. They offer me number 44 and an additional third-round pick next year. Now, Over Chicken says he's only going to play corner. He said that. I mean, that depends. I see him only playing wide receiver. But I'm just saying there's an option there. You could probably play him. You could probably do him like you wanted to do with Adoree Jackson years ago. Play him at corner and throw a few packages for him at wide receiver. Maybe a play or 2 here or vice versa. But the Cowboys came calling and offered up an additional third-round pick next year to move back 7 spots. I'm like, okay, give me some more draft capital next year. Remember, Mike Borgonzi has said they want to have 30 draft picks in the next 3 years. They want to stock up draft picks. So I'm like, and then Steven basically countered that, said he playing both positions. We'll find out. So I moved back from 37 to 44. I pick up another future pick. So now I got 3 first rounders. I got 3 first rounders and I believe 2 third rounders next year. And I picked my offensive lineman in Josh Connerly. Again, I did do this on the pretense that I have Ronnie Stanley and Trey Smith. But if I don't get Ronnie Stanley, Connerly could be a guy that could play left or right with Latham, and that could work. So I got him at 44. Then at 68, that would be the pick I got from the Cleveland Browns. I don't know why I put 67, but I meant 68. I get a safety and Keith Winston Jr. And so got him because I knew we needed a safety. I knew we needed a safety, and he was picked pretty high, one of the best players on the board, so I got him. At 73, Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU. And the reason why I went that route with Mason Taylor looked like he could do both. He could be a 3-down tight end. You don't have to take him off the field. He can block. He can also catch and be a receiver. So, he's basically a mix of Chig and maybe a Wiley or a Vanette. He can do both. Chig is better at being a receiver. Wiley is probably more in the blocking part. Mason Taylor can do both. And then going into the 4th round at 102, I still don't have a quarterback. So I decided to go with Will Howard from Ohio State. Don't really know a lot about him, although he did win a national championship. So that does give something. But this would mean you would have to have a veteran quarterback in front of him. And then the last 2 picks of the 4th round, I picked up a linebacker from UCLA, and then I picked up Miles Frazier, a guard out of LSU. Add some more depth at offensive line, and we do need help at linebacker. We don't know. Kenny Murray could be a cap casualty. And, they may be really wanting to go up with Cedric Gray. We don't know if Jerome Baker's coming back, but they may really want to move forward with like a Cedric Gray and also James Williams. They might want to give them opportunity. I think Cedric Gray is definitely going to get some run, some opportunity. So that's my crazy 4-round mock draft where I kind of went crazy, got some trades. I think I got a lot of value. I mean, I ended up, instead of having, in this particular draft, I would have had a 1, a 2, and then I wouldn't have picked again until I got in 3 4th rounders. Instead, I ended up with a number 6. I ended up with a 1st, 3 seconds, 2 thirds, 3 4s, and then I got 2 future 1st round picks and a future 3rd. I got 2 number 1 picks next year and a 3rd next year. I think I got a haul. I got a major haul. But I do agree, we need a quarterback. That's why my more realistic draft, I got Cam Ward. Dio9 says, Travis Hunter over Cam and Shadour's crazy work. Here's the problem. In this crazy draft, Cam and Shadour were gone. I traded back in the 1st round twice from 1 to 2 to 6 and got this haul. But again, I traded down to 2 thinking that maybe Cleveland would draft Abdul Carter and then maybe I could still get Shadour. But instead they drafted Shadour, so I went with Cam in my main draft. That's why I did that. But this was the more realistic draft for me. This one was just have some fun, go crazy. Let's see what I can come up with. So let me know in the comments. What y'all thought of my mock drafts. Dio9 says, I just got here. Now you good. But again, my main mock draft, I traded down. Cleveland went with Shadour. I got Cam. And then I got Mike Green, the pass rusher from Marshall, who has had a really good week, and Trey Harris at wide receiver. And I still got a number 1 next year from Cleveland. That's my realistic draft. So, again, that's what I kind of think when it comes to that. This is going to be a very fun time. We got the combine coming up at the end of the month, going into March. That's going to be very interesting. We know I'm trying to get the exact dates. It'll be Thursday, February 27th through March 2nd. So that'll be the NFL Combine. And then free agency will begin on March 12th. So you have the tampering period a few days before, and then you have the actual free agency period begin on March 12th. So after the combine, we won't have long. We got until the end of the month in February. So we're about a little over 3 weeks away from the combine. And then right after that, we're going to be 10 days away from the start of free agency. I do think Callahan wants Shedeur. Callahan has said Shedeur reminds him of a Joe Burrow. And I think Shedeur fits the system better. Now, Cam has a lot more upside and has more superstar potential, at least from what I see without looking at film. Again, I'm probably going to start going back and looking at a lot of Colorado games from this year and also looking at some Miami games from this year. And I might well throw in some Penn State games while I'm at it too. Over ticket, let's see. Love, hate the number 1 pick. You hear a lot of rumors and lies. It can become stressful. But that's what this is. This is lying season. You're going to hear, no matter where the Titans were picking, you're going to hear stuff. But the fact that we're at number 1, and truth be told, we're going to hear a lot because we got the most power. We control this entire draft. Everything starts with us. We could do whatever we want. And I love being in that position of power and other teams squirming to us. And that was something that I think Lucas Panzica of 104.5 was talking about. If you're going to trade back, which team seems to be the most desperate? Who's going to be the one that's going to be desperate and impatient, feeling like they got to make a move, and you could get a lot out of them? The one team that he mentioned was the Giants, because their general manager basically said, I'm impatient. We got to find a way to start winning now. So you might be able to fleece the Giants, move to 3. You could get their second. You might be able to, you'll probably get their second. You're probably going to get maybe a number 1 next year. And you probably could get either a number 2 next year or their 3rd round pick this year. You could get a lot from the Giants. When a team is desperate and anxious to move up, you could get a lot from them. I mean, we need to be desperate, but I say we got to be smart. Remember, we are in the most advantageous position. We're at number 1. We have no stars. That is not necessarily true, D09. We got some stars, but they just ain't been promoted good enough. And number 2, they've been inconsistent. We got stars. Calvin Ridley could be a star. Tony Pollard should have been in the Pro Bowl. Big Jeff, one of the best defensive tackles in the game. Harold Landry could be a star, but he's not very consistent. L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie could be stars if they stay healthy. So there are some stars there. We need to be desperate, but we also got to be smart. That's the key. Smart. So that's what we have to do. But this is going to be a fun off season. We're definitely going to get into the Senior Bowl. We're going to get into the Senior Bowl and everything next week. I'm definitely going to try to see if I can line up a guest or two. Definitely going to try to work on that as well. Definitely going to be a big week, big couple of weeks coming up, leading up to the Combine. Definitely shout out to Titans Rossi. And the Tight Upload Network. I saw he was down at the Senior Bowl. And I was kind of jealous. I was like, wow, how are you able to be at the Senior Bowl? You're like, hey, there's a form to fill out and you can get credentialed. I'm like, man, I might have to start doing that. See if I can get credentialed, be at the Senior Bowl, and really get some content and stuff like that. Maybe get a microphone that will work. And and I'll have like some equipment to set up, maybe like a tripod or something like that with my phone and stuff, and be able to get footage with players and stuff like that. So definitely gonna be putting in some work. So you never know. I know I'm supposed to be going on a cruise early in late January, going into February. I'm about to see when the Senior Bowl of 2026 is gonna be. And if that's the case, I might be making my way to Mobile next year for the Senior Bowl. Now, I'm talking about star we put on TV. Well, if you draft a Shador, you draft a Travis Hunter or Cam Ward, bang, you're going to have somebody to put on TV because they're going to want to talk about it. So there, it is what it is right there. But again, we're going to start really getting into some scouting. We're going to get into the Senior Bowl a little bit next week. Definitely I may unleash another mock draft next week. I'm not sure, but definitely going to be lining up. We're definitely going to be talking about some of these positions and some of these players and really get to work on that. Hopefully everybody is having a good Wednesday. I'm about to tap out because I got to get to the gym. I got to go give me a workout in. I got to get some work done. I got to take care of some business. But everybody, again, thank y'all for tuning into the show. Again, make sure y'all hit that like button on your way out. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button on your way out. And I thank everybody for tuning in to TNT Tonight. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer. Of course, later on this year, the Truth League Report will be returning, definitely. And also, Down to the T, I'm going to get that going this year as well. I'm going to be trying to work with maybe getting some people to join me for that who are major enthusiasts, either with the Vols or with the Tigers, maybe a little bit of Preds talk. Definitely working on that as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. And everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. And y'all have a very good rest of your Wednesday. And as always, tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.